All right, we're live. Make sure this is going on YouTube. And there we go, we're live. Hey everyone, I have a special guest for you today, Dante Young, and it's my honor to introduce him. He's a fellow YouTuber. He talks about seed retention. I love how you say seed retention. Personal development, self-love, spirituality, lots of the same stuff I talk about. And if you're not familiar, I have a link down below, and definitely check out his channel and subscribe. Really awesome content, especially his latest videos. You can tell he's really vibing with truth and positivity, and lots of really inspiring, awesome content. So definitely go check him out. Welcome to my channel, Dante. How you doing?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm doing good, man. You know, it's a beautiful Sunday, so got some dandelion tea. You know, the vibes.
Nice.
Setting the vibes just right.
Nice.
Yeah.
And can you introduce yourself to my channel? So, you're a YouTuber. You talk about seed retention and spirituality a lot. And I also saw that you also used to be a Division I athlete, which was, really impressive.
Oh, yeah. So for everybody who don't know me, my name is Dante Young. Like you said, I have a YouTube channel. And really the whole premise of my channel is to help guys become their best version, you know, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So I started off just talking about how to love yourself. And then, you know, I figured, you know, if I want guys to really become the best version of themselves, I got to tell them the real, right? And I was a little skeptical about talking about retention at first, but, you know, I had to, it's impossible for any guy to become his best version without that main factor. So that's really where I started, you know, my channel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like retention is the foundation for being a man, especially in the modern era where we're just bombarded with Instagram images, porn everywhere. Just our whole culture is hypersexualized, and most guys are just dissipating their energies all the time, their physical energies, but also their mental energies, where they think, you know.
Yeah.
And for guys who retain their seed and have purity of mind and focus of mind, it's a complete game changer. And I see your YouTube channel has been rocketing up lately. You know, the proof's in the pudding. People who do seed retention, they get success. They have that magnetism about them. It's also this kind of like pure magnetism. You know, people there's goodness in it. There's something like, this guy isn't just doing it for cloud. This guy's on a positive level. He's on a purpose. You know.
Yeah. You know, I always try to lead by example. So I always try to be the example I'm trying to set. And I tell guys, like, I really live this lifestyle. Like, I'm not just talking to you guys. Everything that I say about this is real. I've been through it. I've experienced it, you know, firsthand. You have to try it for yourself, though. You can listen to, you know, Gold Jacket, me, anybody that speaks on this. But until you try it yourself, you are not going to feel the experience.
Definitely. Yeah. How did you first learn about retention and get into it?
So going back to being a Division I athlete, you know, I started hearing glimpses of retention, you know, even then throughout my athletic career.
Interesting.
Yeah. Coach would always tell us, you know, don't release before a race because it drains, right? But in my mind, in my young mind, I wasn't thinking about the impact that really had. You know, I was just, coach just talking, you know, he don't want us chasing cheeks before the race. You know? But like, you know, as I started doing my research and I started looking at why retention is the key to spirituality, it's the key to really being vital as a man. When I started learning these things, that's when I started taking it more serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from there, I went on my own journey and, you know, it went from there. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are the biggest benefits that you found on your retention journey?
I would say the benefit that I noticed first was the peace of mind that I had. You know, I just eradicated porn and masturbation and not releasing my seed. The first time I went for 2 weeks, and in that 2 weeks, I just felt a clarity over myself. My energy changed. Like I felt real peaceful. and just everything around me just felt more vibrant. The colors were brighter, and you just have you're connected to a divine source. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just like I said, it's something you have to experience.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
From there, man, it's like once you start, you can't go back. So
yeah, that's exactly. I don't think I've ever met someone who's done 2 months of retention who has ever been like, this isn't for me, and goes back, you know.
Wow.
It's like everyone, once they try it, once you do 2 months, once you do 2-3 months, you want to keep doing it because you taste the truth. And and then the contrast experience is so big. You go back and you have a relapse, or you have a slip, or you release. You've really get in touch with that emptiness, and you just, I don't know. For me, I just like feel like a loser if I release, you know.
Yeah, man. Relapse.
It's just weak. Yeah.
That relapse, man. That relapse, it'll humble you.
Yeah.
It'll humble you.
It does. Yeah. It's a humbling journey for sure.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most empowering journeys men could go on. It's the modern day rite of passage for a man.
It has to be, man. You know, especially what's going on now, where it's like it's being over sexualized these days. So
everything.
It's almost a must for a guy to gain control and discipline over that area.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's spiritually and psychologically. It's I realized, I stop masturbating and stop looking at porn. Suddenly, I'm not chasing after every girl, lusting after every girl, looking at every ass. You know, it's mentally I feel more pure and more like honorable. And paradoxically, because I don't have that neediness or that lustful gaze in my eyes, it seems like women are more attracted to me, but I'm not looking for it. You know,
right.
It's interesting how that works.
You know, with certain activities that we indulge in, you have certain spirits and certain energies that's attached to that. So when you really stop playing with those energies and you start to master yourself, you know, discipline yourself sexually, there's energies that are attached to that as well. So you have higher vibrational entities and energies that are attached to that activity. So this is how you get that peace of mind and that you know, that tranquility when you do it, because you're rising up in the higher realms. You know what I mean? So
big time.
It's very important to be conscious of what you're attaching your energy to. Big time.
Do you know how to like articulate to that someone who's skeptical? You know, sometimes I almost think in terms of like chakras, you know, energy going up the chakras or something, but I always kind of struggle with how to explain the kind of spirituality benefits, you know, to someone who might be a little skeptical. Have you figured out a good way to do that? It's hard to explain. It's almost something you got to experience for yourself, you know?
Right. So I try to break things down to where people can understand in more of like just a plain and simple everyday, right? So when I say energies, we're just talking about a certain frequency, right? So if you go to a bar, you already know what type of people to expect to see there, right? You're going to see drunk people. You're going to see lustful people, people trying to fight, right? So you already know those, you see those people that do those things. So that's energy. Think of it as energy.
Yeah.
Lust, you know, fighting energy, drunken energy, right?
Yep.
If you go to a sports game, you know what type of energy to expect there. You're going to have fanatic fans. You're going to have people that's drunk as well. People that's died. Like, so the things that you indulge in, you're going to meet those type of people, right? So when I explain energy, it's just a frequency you're tapping into.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And have you noticed the woman you're attracted to have changed on seed retention?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I find myself attracted.
That was a big one for me.
Yeah. I mean, you still going to attract, you know, lustful women as well, just because they can sense your energy.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
But the thing about it too is you can feel other people's energy as well. So a lot of times you might speak to somebody and you might feel drained or tired after talking to that person. That's how you know that person was either an energy vampire or they were just draining your energy. This is how you can kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of discern certain people in your life when you start to live a more righteous path based off of how you feel when you're around them.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember back in the day, back when I was addicted to porn and more chasing girls, I remember I would just mainly kind of filter for girls right away if they were just hot, and that's completely changed for me now. Sometimes I'll be talking to a physically attractive woman, and I actually will be repulsed by her. It's like I almost feel like I need to get away, and it's just the physical aspect. I almost see it as like an illusion. I can more see, I can more feel her energy. You know, I'm not blinded by this shiny big object in front of me. And you know, sometimes maybe I'll be talking to a woman who maybe before I wouldn't find as physically attractive, but she just has this really magnetic energy or this really beautiful energy about her that's extremely attractive. And, you know, I could really kind of sense into that. I almost feel like a Jedi or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like our culture really disconnects us from these deeper senses, and retention opens us up, to being sensitive to being able to sense energy and frequencies a lot more clearer.
Yeah. So your seed, it activates your nervous system to a whole nother level. And your nervous system that's your electrical powerhouse for your whole body, right? It runs down your spine.
Yeah.
So when that gets activated to a heightened sense, now you're able to sense energy more. You're more intuitive. All these things start to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You realize, man, all we are is just energy, man. Like besides this body,
yeah,
you're not this body fully. We're a multi-dimensional being. So we exist on multiple levels. But in this reality, we get focused on the 3D, just this flesh. This is where society is today.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. And every time we're climaxing, it's almost like we're putting our energetic body into like overdrive. We're kind of just burning out the battery, you know, and then we're always high or low. But we stop retaining, and then we're operating at, we're not frying our systems all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And once we do it, there's this feeling like this is how it's supposed to be. This is how we're designed. It's just crazy how 90% of guys are looking at porn and and jerking off. 95%, I don't know, like jerking off daily or several times a week. You know, it's just crazy.
Right. And even when I was doing it, man, I still didn't feel right. Like even when I didn't know about this journey, I still felt like just dirty. You feel dirty after looking at porn.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
It don't fit. It don't sit right with your spirit.
Definitely. I remember when I was younger, 14, 15, first started looking at porn. Every single time it was, this dark energy. Something's very wrong here. You know, and then I guess over time that would slowly get desensitized to it, and it became more normalized. But I remember the first several times I looked at porn, and every time I looked at porn, there was always a feeling that something was off. But especially the first 10, 20 times, it was very strong. And then, you know, over time, we almost desensitized to it. And I feel like lots of people forget those first experiences looking at porn and being like, and it's just like this dark, heavy energy.
Yeah. And I know with me, man, like, you get to a point where you just flipping through scenes because you don't want to waste it on that one scene. It just gets dark, man, and just you know, unnecessary.
Yeah, for me, it's once I find a scene, I'd watch it and pull up a new tab, and it was almost like I was addicted to finding that next best scene rather than actually watching the porn. It was weird.
Yeah, it's like a drug, man. Like you trying
to find
next best high.
Yeah, yeah. It's a dark energy. It's a heavy energy.
Yeah, bro. But you know, that's why guys need to at least try to attempt this journey, man, because you know it's very important for you as a man to, you know, if you're trying to have a family one day, you got to be a leader, and a leader has to be somebody who's not mentally weak, right? And if you can't control yourself, like you can be controlled by anybody if you can't control your own urges.
Yeah,
so it's very
true.
Very, very important, man.
Very true. Yeah, if we can't control our own sexuality and our own bodies, that means the whole world has control over us in a sense. Yeah, how we do anything is how we do everything, and our bodies are our central point. They're our central point of consciousness.
Right.
You know, I've also noticed. Go ahead.
No, that's one theory I had, man. You know,
it's true. It's true.
When your energy's down here, right, that means there's nothing up here. So now what's controlling this?
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself that.
Yeah, facts.
right? You can't use both at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I can only use one head at a time.
One head at a time.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Not, looks like we've got 55 people in the chat. Welcome everyone to the chat. We're going to start taking questions soon. But yeah, I just want to. I really like some of your videos on self-love, and yeah, I think one of your first videos on your channel was about self-love, and you've talked about that a lot. I was just wondering if you could share some of your perspective on self-love, because I saw some of those videos and I really liked it.
So, and I think this is like one of the most important things about retention is finding yourself. So when I talk about self-love, it's about respecting yourself, right? And a lot of people lack in that department because from the food that we eat, our diet, our lifestyle, we say we love ourselves, but we don't show it through our daily actions.
Yeah.
We indulge in a lot of toxic and destructive behaviors. It's contradictive to how we want to live. So when I say self-love, it's about appreciating yourself. When you wake up in the morning, man, give yourself positive affirmations. Just be thankful for having another breath, for waking up, for another day. Look yourself in the mirror and just appreciate yourself, how you look, and give yourself love and positive affirmations. And just take the time out and just appreciate the little things.
100%. And how's your mental self-talk throughout the day?
Right. So my mental talk is just like, today's gonna be a great day. I'm humbled. I appreciate what I have right now in my life. I'm not thinking in the future of what I need to have or what I want. I'm thinking about what I have now and appreciating that.
Yeah.
Just take it a day at a time.
Yeah.
We may have goals in the future, things like that, but you don't worry about that. You worry about today, this moment right now.
Yeah. I love that. It's easy to get caught up in these big dreams, and if something doesn't go right, we get frustrated or stressed. But it's just one day at a time thing.
Yeah. And every day is not going to be perfect, man. You're not going to have a great day every day, but we control what we can. And that's it. Everything else, we just go with the flow with everything else, but you control your mindset and your thoughts and you're good to go. Right. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. Yeah. How about we start taking some questions from the audience?
Cool.
But yeah, you've got a very inspiring vibe.
Thank you.
Yeah, so feel free to post any topics or questions you have, and let's see. Okay, here's a question from Jay Barker Hill. What about masturbation without porn every once in a while? I lately have been retaining towards certain goals and activities, but sometimes just masturbation on weekends, and it seems like it's not a problem. What do you think about that, Dante?
Like actually releasing or edging? Because that's two different things.
He says MO, so it sounds like releasing.
Releasing. See, what I tell my guys, is this is your energy, so you can do with it as you please. It's not my job to tell you, but what is your purpose? Like, always have a purpose for everything that you do and how it's going to affect you. Right. So that's the mindset you want to have. You want to have cause and effect. All right. If I'm releasing every weekend, how is that affecting me for today or for tomorrow? Right. And what is the purpose? Is the purpose in my favor? Is it going to be in my favor or is it going to be destructive? Right. So I'm not going to tell you not to, but for me, like my personal journey, like I'm trying to use all my energy to manifest the life that I want. Right. So I don't have time to waste energy when I can put that same energy into something like what I'm doing right now, or going to the gym or just, creating something for myself that's going to be productive in my life.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, you don't want to waste your energy. You want to have purpose for every use of your seed. Right.
Yeah. Perfectly said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our seed, it's our sexual energy, and that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be towards sexual energy. As like Napoleon Hill talks about, Think and Grow Rich, it could go towards creative energy or productive energy, even doing laundry, or it could be put to anything. It's our energy source.
Yeah.
And when we're just jizzing it into a tissue, you know, it's if someone wants to do that, it's their life. But it's yeah. Back in the day, years ago, I experimented doing it in moderation a little bit, and I still felt drained. And sometimes, yeah, people think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But sometimes, for me, I feel the drain immediately afterwards. But even the next day or 2 days later, I still feel some drain. You know, so for some people who maybe don't think it's that big of a deal, you know, I still think there's subtle effects that maybe even last up to a week, even maybe. And especially as you retain long term, it's like those benefits snowball over time. And there's really no comparison for me. I plan on retaining for the rest of my life. Like, I don't see any reason why I would ever. There's zero purpose for me to ever masturbate ever again. I don't know. Is that how you feel, Dante?
Yeah. See, where a lot of guys kind of get mistaken from is they think sperm and semen is the same thing, and it's not. Your body builds up sperm every day, all day, but semen is sperm mixed with other fluids. So it's sperm and it's spinal fluid. It's a whole bunch of fluids from your organs and your bone marrow and all these things. They all form into one fluid, which is your semen, right? So you're losing all that nutrients from your organs, from your bones. And this is why when you release, you feel tired, because your body just released nutrients. And it takes time for you to build that back up. This is why if you're releasing constantly, man, you're killing yourself. Like, literally. Like, you're losing resources, right?
Yeah. You're just unnecessary depleting.
Unnecessary, man. And this is why I don't advocate releasing unless it's for a purpose, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then there's the physical release of the seed of the semen, and then there's also the I read a book, Cupid's Poisoned Arrow, that talks about the neurochemical effects too of climax, and it's when we release, you know, our dopamine spikes, and then when dopamine spikes, what goes up must come down. So you know, that's why after releasing we feel just kind of more low dopamine, more tired, fatigued. So it's not only just the physical of the semen, but there's neurochemical, and there's studies that testosterone increases after 7 days of retention. So there's all sorts of stuff in the brain happening, stuff in the semen and nutrients happening, stuff in our hormone levels happening. There's psychologically, spiritually, energetically, there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yep. And when you constantly release, you abuse those senses inside of you, all those receptors and chemicals. You start to abuse it to the point where you get desensitized. So now you don't feel as much. And this is why, you know, you see the world today, everybody's so desensitized because we deplete our senses so much, right? We overstimulate ourselves.
Yeah.
With everything, with food, with entertainment, everything is over sensualized.
Yeah. People are on their smartphones 8 hours a day, it seems like. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm guilty too, you know, for being on my phone a lot. I got to catch myself sometimes, you know. A lot of times I'm answering questions and emails and things like that. And sometimes I got to take a break myself.
That's one struggle of being a YouTuber is we kind of have to be on technology. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. What type of food or what type of activities do you suggest to do after a relapse? By Zafar. Thanks for the question, Zafar. What do you think, Dante? And I think the first video I actually saw of you was actually like a year ago, and I think it was something about how to handle a relapse or what to do after a relapse. I'm not sure if you know which video I'm talking about. I think I saw you a year ago, and then I saw that video and I was like, oh, that's a great video. I didn't see it for a while. Then I went into my analytics, and there's a section now titled other channels your viewers are watching at. And I saw you and then went back to your channel, and that's when I reached out to you.
So you're gonna make sure you're putting back those resources if you do release, right? So when you release, your semen has a lot of zinc, a lot of magnesium, like vitamin B, a lot of fatty acids, omega fatty acids, things like that. So you want to eat foods that's high in that content. So like avocados are really good. Mixed nuts, Brazilian nuts, whatever you like. A lot of fruits and veggies. That's where your vitamins and your minerals are going to come from, right? Really anything dealing with the earth or coming from the earth is going to be good for you. I like to make a shake. I put oatmeal, coconut milk, some nuts, peanut butter, blend that up.
Nice.
You'll be feeling good in a couple of days,
Nice. But yeah, I'd say I always like to think maximally, and the best mindset to have is just to never relapse. So,
that's facts.
So it's, how we think about things often manifest. So yeah, relapses happen and this journaling is humbling, but best possible thing is just don't relapse in the first place. Do your best not to relapse. And another thing is, if I do have a relapse, something that I like to do is, because I just feel defeated. I feel depleted mentally. I feel just like a loser, basically. And for me, I try to do at least one productive thing after a relapse. Maybe it's a cold shower, maybe it's a workout, maybe it's even just doing laundry, but just something to kind of get my momentum going again.
Yeah.
So get the nutrients going again, but also get your psychology going again and get back into that kind of just winning mindset.
Working out is very important, especially cardio. Don't sleep on your cardio because that promotes blood flow. When you're working like that, you're working your whole body and you're breathing. It's forcing you to breathe. Your whole body, the blood is flowing through your whole body, right? Your heart's pounding.
Yeah.
Right. So this is going to help you, as far as circulating that energy throughout your body. So a lot of guys relapse because they sit stagnant.
Yeah.
Right. You can't have stagnant energy because it's going to release. It has to release somewhere.
Yeah.
The first place it's going to release is through your head down there because that's what it's used to.
Yeah.
You got to get moving so you can bring that energy up. And
now
it start to get embedded into other sections of your life, right?
Exercising is crucial. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And I found that really interesting that your coach said to retain or not to dissipate energies before competition. Yeah. I hear it's very in the athletic community, it's kind of just like a well-known thing with athletes not to release before. And athletes know this, but the average person doesn't know it yet.
I mean, I didn't listen though. I wish I would have listened, man. No telling where I would have been at. But.
Your coach knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, he knew. But even like boxers, man, if you look at any like combat sport,
like all of them, it's just known.
Yeah, because it's like that's your energy, man. The reason why Mike Tyson was so
masculinity. Yeah.
Mike Tyson was so intimidating, man, because he went like 5 years without having sex. Right. So his aura, just his energy was scary.
Yeah.
That's how powerful he was, man. That's how powerful your seed is when you retain.
Yeah. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, really. So.
All right, we got a question here by Philip Kupka. What's up, Philip? That's a friend of mine. What's your take on the relationship between PMO addiction and trauma and how to handle trauma in general? That's an excellent question. I'll let you start, Dante.
I think a lot of times we try to find an outlet for our internal problems. So like either it's drugs, food, relationships, or it could be porn and masturbation, PMO. We just want to feel that high, that chemical release, that dopamine release, right? And see, this is very important where we go back to loving yourself, where I talk about retention is an internal battle. When you hold everything inside, now it's going to force you to work on yourself. All your demons, clean out your closet, right? And it's going to take you, if you ever seen, you guys ever read Dante's Inferno, how he goes through like the different layers of hell?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
He goes through the lust and, all these different stages. That same thing that happens to you. You go through all these different stages of yourself. You work yourself up and you're cleaning out each energy section of your body. from your root chakra all the way up to your crown. So anything that's inside of there that you haven't cleansed out, it's going to come out to the surface.
Yeah. And one big thing I've noticed on my own journey and also lots of my clients' journey is they maybe don't think they have trauma or they're not very aware or conscious of it, but after retaining for 3 weeks or a month or so, suddenly that trauma comes out of their unconscious and comes to light, and they realize, wow, this bad experience that I had in my childhood or dating when I was younger, it's still unconsciously affecting me and running some of my behavior, and it's something that they were completely unconscious of. And whenever maybe those negative emotions were coming from that trauma, they would just repress it through porn or masturbation or video games or alcohol or whatever it is. But you take away all that stuff and you stop escaping through your emotions. Suddenly these emotions and these complexes arise from our unconscious, and we get clear and we get clear on them. And at first that can be kind of intimidating. It's like, oh wow, I'm actually kind of more fucked up than I think. Yeah. But that's the first step of healing, is realizing, becoming conscious of these past things that are dictating our lives, and then putting in the work to heal them. And then to put in the work to heal them, that's a long, complicated conversation. But doing retention creates the foundation for that healing to happen, because we're no longer escape, but we're actually going through those emotions, and we allow ourselves to feel those emotions. For me, retention, the first now in the beginning there was some pretty big turbulence. At times I would feel like very lonely, and I was like, wow, I didn't know I was feeling this lonely. I'd always repress it through porn and masturbation, but I felt a lot of loneliness. Yeah. And it repressed these emotions. But going back to trauma, I remember I had a streak of 808 days of retention. So yeah, I remember during that time I had lots of healing dreams where like maybe something that kind of like mildly traumatic happened with the girl like 10 years ago, and I would have this and like I had this dream where in the dream we like talked a little bit and then gave each other a hug, and then I woke up. Yeah. And it was this like really beautiful experience that this kind of past thing, that trauma, from mild trauma, but from 10 years ago, it was like my mind and brain were healing it in my sleep. It was like it was a really healing experience, and I know it was retention and taking away the porn and masturbation that allowed that experience to happen. So that's like retention, and this journey can very powerfully heal past. It could be the foundation that heals past traumas.
That's facts. And I think a lot of times we don't take the time out to heal ourselves. We just rush. We just constantly rushing through life. Don't ever take the time to just sit down and just speak to yourself. One thing I say is just look yourself in the mirror, like look yourself in your eyes, and just thank yourself. Say thank you, for getting through those tough situations. I forgive myself for maybe doing something in the past that I wasn't too fond of. Forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Those little things make a big difference in your healing, right?
Really important.
It starts with you. It starts with you. When you start healing with yourself, and you start forgiving yourself and thanking yourself and just appreciating everything you went through in your past, you will feel a weight lifted off your shoulders immediately.
Really important.
All right. That's what you're waiting for. You got to love yourself before anybody else is going to love you.
Yeah. Yeah. The world mirrors us, but it has to start from within.
Starts within, man.
And that's within, so without. Yeah. No one. I liked one of your latest videos. You were saying, or no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to hold your hand. No one's going to. You got to do it yourself.
Got to, man.
And that was powerful. Yeah.
I learned the hard way, man. You got to do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. But I liked what you said about self-forgiveness. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. We all have things from our past that we regret. What has been your process of kind of forgiving yourself from things in your past?
I just kind of learned that as long as I'm trying to be better each day and I'm making, adjustments each day, then I can't be mad at that. I'm we're all having a human experience, man. So we're all learning and trying to grow.
Yeah.
We don't make mistakes, right? That's why we're here. We're not perfect. So I feel like God understands that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
Our only job is to learn and grow, right? That's it. If you're not getting better, if you're making mistakes and you're not learning from those mistakes, then that's when it becomes bad. But as long as you're trying and you're taking one step each day, I learned that, that's all I can do.
Yeah.
And I stopped being so hard on myself because, it has no value at the end of the day. Like I did something.
Yeah.
If I do something a year ago and I'm still like, why am I holding on to that? That's a memory. Like it's not real anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
100%. Yeah.
so, guys, you got to forgive yourself. That's the first key to self-love is forgiving yourself and knowing that you're gonna make mistakes, because we all do, but not making the same mistakes, right? Because that's when you're gonna get punished. You got to move forward.
Yeah.
I speak to a lot of guys who relapse, man, and they're so down on themselves because they went this many days and they released. And I just tell them, learn from it. What made you release? What triggered that?
Exactly.
Right. Figure that out first, learn from it, and then move on.
Exactly.
Right? Don't dwell on that. Yeah. Don't dwell on that. Because I used to do the same thing. I would dwell on a relapse. Like, man, I was this many days and now this is like, man, look, you just got to move on,
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about just learning the lesson. It's mistakes are good things. If we're messing up, because it shows us where we can grow, where we can learn. As long as we're learning lessons, that's what matters. And and sometimes some people don't make enough mistakes. It's you got to put yourself out there. You got to try new things. You got to make mistakes to learn. It's about being human. And then but it's learning the mistakes and yeah, what you were saying about we can't dwell on the past. We gotta. I think that's one of the great things about retention is it makes us forward-minded. It puts us on purpose. There are more important things than women or lust or looking at porn or wasting time jerking off. It focuses our mind, and when our mind is focused, we're not thinking about or we're not dwelling on stuff from the past because we're on purpose.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have to go through things like certain mistakes that you make in your life. They're life changing. So, if that was something you might have had to go through so that you can become a better person.
Yeah.
We don't think of it like that a lot of times because we can't see the bigger picture in life. We just see now. A lot of times those mistakes are guiding you on a path to be your best version.
We could look back with gratitude on it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Rather than stress or disappointment, if we could look back on gratitude. And there's a great quote by C.S. Lewis, and it says, he says, if God forgives us, we got to forgive ourselves, or else it puts us on a higher tribunal than God himself. It's, it's like,
I like that.
Yeah. It's like God is unconditional love. And if we can't unconditionally love ourselves, it's, it almost puts us higher than God, and we got to humble ourselves to God. So that we gotta be the unconditional love that, that the Most High is,
That part, man, that's deep. I never thought about that. Yeah.
When I saw that quote, I screenshotted it. Yeah, I was like, that's a great quote. Yeah. And another thing is when we learn to forgive ourselves, I also found that it's easier to forgive others as well, Mm-hmm. So it's there's just less space for judgment or holding grudges or being caught up in any of that drama and stuff, because it's like I make mistakes and they make mistakes and we're all just humans, and it's just all about unconditional love for ourselves and for others.
When you really start to wake up within yourself, you start to see every encounter, every person that you meet as an extension of yourself. So you can see yourself in everybody, right? Just little things, little personality things, or just what they like. You know what I mean? So you start to be less judgmental because you see yourself in people.
Yeah. Right? Well, it's interesting you brought that up. I've noticed with and I saw on your website that you take clients for coaching, and I do that too. And I've noticed often that with the clients that contact me, it's they maybe have there's usually some connection. Maybe we've had a similar struggle, or there's always some connection, and it shows how we're all connected. There's these synchronicities. There's energy brings people together, and and there's definitely higher intelligence.
And it's crazy because when I was going through my experiences and my downfalls, and I was just like, why am I going through this? But now as I take clients too, man, and I hear their stories, and I can just relate to it. I have empathy for them because I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes sense now to me. Like, okay, now I know why I went through this, because I have to be strong so I can help the next person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true what you said, man. You do see a lot of people, a lot of yourself in people, especially when they have similar experiences or similar problems that you had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The world's our mirror. Let's take a new question.
Guy says 69 seconds strong. That's funny. That proto mango.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere, proto.
Hey. Every second counts, man.
Let's see. Yeah, we're just going back to what we were saying about dwelling in the past. I also noticed whenever I'd relapse, I'd often bring back old memories or old shames, or I'd just dwell in this negative place, or just think about the stuff going wrong in my life. But once I've only had a couple of relapses over the last several years, and it's like I don't have those experiences anymore. I don't have these experiences where I go on these lows and dwell on the past anymore. It's just that's not part of my life anymore. But back when I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I was relapsing several times a week, sometimes several times a day, it would constantly put me into this consciousness where I'd just be thinking about all the bad stuff, immediately after a relapse, and that headspace isn't part of my reality anymore, and that's awesome.
Yeah, man, that's good. And then you realize too, man, just when these streaks take a long time to go. 3-month streak, that's a quarter of a year. You know what I mean? So you relapse for 3 months. It's like, well, I just went 3 months without releasing. That's a long time.
You got to celebrate every victory. Yeah.
Of course, that's a victory. Then you got to look how far you came. You came from a time where you're probably releasing twice a day, and you just went once every 3 months. That's a hell of a victory.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
big time. It's important to celebrate that and be proud of that.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. I'm all about progress over perfection. As long as someone's improving, if they're doing it every other day and they start doing it twice a week, that's huge. As long as there's progress, it's important to be kind to ourselves and celebrate every step of the way.
Right.
Okay. Latest question is by Gaurav. Bro, please discuss how to control the ego. That's an interesting question. How to control the ego. What do you think, Dante?
So with our ego is our character, right? That creates our avatar, who we are. If you play a video game, you create your character, your class, and how you want them to look, dress. That's what your ego is, right? So a lot of times our ego can get overpowered to the point where you're cocky or you look down on other people. So you want to try to balance that, right? So every now and then you want to humble yourself, right? Doing good deeds for people. You know what I mean? Meditation helps as well, because meditation takes you outside of yourself and you go into just a void space where it's just you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not dwelling on the physical.
Yeah.
For me, the way I stay humble, man, I'm not a very materialistic guy. So like, no matter how much money I have, I always get things that I need, not what I want. I live very, very minimalistic. So I try to just buy things that I need at the moment, right? I try not to indulge. But yeah, really that ego, man, you have to balance that out. You can't let that ego get over. Some people, they get success in their life and they start to look at people differently. They start to treat people differently.
Yeah.
So you want to stay grounded, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually made a video a week ago talking about how I like how what you said about how ego is kind of our character. It's our character in the video game. You know, it's
Yeah.
and I feel like some people have their ego is too small. You know,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people it's I think especially in the spiritual community, there's a lot of like, you know, I see a comment right here saying, "No, ego is not you. Ego is Satan." And see, that's UHS. It's the ego is kind of just a projection of who we are. It's kind of like this mental projection. Yeah. In a way, it isn't even a real thing. We are all spirits, but in the present moment, the ego is real. You know, right now, like this is my ego right now. You know, this is my character.
Yeah.
And I feel like lots of people almost kind of, especially in the spiritual community, kind of demonize their ego and like try to completely still their ego. But the way I look at it is almost like I think it's good to befriend our ego. You know, it's like, yeah, our ego is our character, and yeah, we got to keep it in check. Sometimes we might get a little cocky or focus on superficial stuff, but sometimes we need to like raise our ego and really like. Ego creates self-belief. Ego is kind of connected to our self-esteem, and if we're disempowered and you know, if our ego is too small, we're going to be disempowered, and people are going to take advantage of us, and we're not going to state our opinions and share who we are believably. It's almost like having a level 1 character in a video game, like right. Jesus, Buddha. You know, they had really strong characters. You know. You know, if you look at these spiritual teachers, they have strong egos, you know, and I'm sure sometimes they're pure oneness, and sometimes, but and they keep it in check. But you know, these are strong characters, and yeah, the way I look at I look at it as almost like a projection of our consciousness, and it's our ego isn't an enemy, but it's something to befriend, or it could be an enemy if it's out of check. We got to keep it in check. But I like it to look at it as a friend, you know, rather than something that. I don't know. What do you think of that?
So one way if you have too small of an ego, the one way to bring that up is I tell guys is always be on your grind and have a purpose in life, right? So just grinding out your day, whatever you like to do. If you're an artist, you do music, you know, you putting all your efforts into that. When I wake up in the morning, you know, I do my meditation, whatever, and I hit the gym, right? Hit the gym, and I'm building that ego up for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I always remember where I came from, right? The struggles that I went through. That right there is going to boost your ego, because your character, you know what your character's been through, right? So you're not going to let nobody run over you, you know, and you use that as fuel to become better in life, right? Like me, I'm competitive when it comes to that. Like I don't like losing for myself. Right. So I take my athletic background, I take that into life. Like I don't like losing. I'm not going to be a loser for myself. Right.
Yeah.
But then you also want to keep that in check by just remembering, you know, where you came from as well. That's going to help you kind of ground yourself, and just knowing that, you know, no matter how big you get, you know, you're still a person. Like we're still regular people. Right.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And yeah, that's there's a question here from Ashad Mumkin. How do you deal with competition? Well, you give off a higher energy on NoFap. It's great, but it's not all candy and flowers. People feel angered with your confidence or energy.
You can't really control that though.
Yeah, that's on them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they feel, but you gotta, you know, just walk with confidence still. People are gonna be intimidated by you, but that's not your fault. You know, it's something inside of them that's making them unconfident, right? People always project themselves on you, right?
I saw one of your latest videos. You said something about haters, or you've been getting some haters recently.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's being
it's part of being a public figure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It happens, and just, you know,
I think in that video you said you kind of liked it. It kind of gave you some energy, right?
Oh yeah, it always has.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like even when I was running track as an athlete, man, you're always performing in front of people. So like,
yeah,
I'm already used to it. Like I'm already used to the type of environment that brings when you're in the public eye. But to me, man, I just feel like people focus their energy on the wrong things. You know, and it's like if you would focus that energy on yourself, man, you wouldn't have to be a hater or anything like that. You would be great in yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
But people don't know how to do that though. They focus on other people because they don't want to deal with themselves. That's the true killer right there. It's going back in here and dealing with whatever you got going on in your life.
Most people are obsessed with other people. Yeah.
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 So a lot of people are scared to deal with themselves, man. They're afraid to be alone because those demons going to come out. All that stuff that they repressed throughout the years and never dealt with comes to the surface when they're alone.
Yeah.
So they have to focus on somebody else's lifestyle to compensate for that.
Yeah. 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 It's so true. Yeah. Especially with social media and the internet, you're constantly focusing on other people. And yeah.
But we all have that light in us, man. We all have a skill or a talent that we have to give, but everybody don't pull that out because they just don't know how.
Yeah.
Right? And if we would just learn to focus on ourselves, man, we all could be great.
Yeah.
Like really. There's room for everybody.
Yeah. 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 Like I think there's one quote by Jesus is like the kingdom of heaven can be here on earth. You know, if we truly believed and manifested the light, we could create a kingdom of heaven here on earth. You know, and that's I think like each individual's goal is to create their own heaven the best they can, right in the here and now. You know, and shine their light the best they can and help others shine their lights as well.
That's facts. There's multiple dimensions here on this earth. So, you know, you could be standing next to a person. That person could be having the worst day of his life. You could be having the best day of your life. But y'all are both sharing the same space. But y'all are in two different dimensions mentally, though.
Yeah,
that's where heaven and hell comes from. It's all mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
here's a question by Ollie. How do you deal with not resonating with your friends anymore? They were friends for a reason, but they are also toxic elements like drinking that I don't want to be around anymore on this journey. That's actually something one of my clients brought up recently. I think the most important thing is honoring yourself. And if someone has toxic energy, you know, it's okay to create some distance. And, you know, you got to honor yourself and you shouldn't, and you got to stay true to yourself. That's number one. And it seriously is extremely important to, there's that quote, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with most. You know, that's one reason why I reached out to Dante. I could tell he has an awesome energy. He's righteous. He has high values. He's very inspiring. He's on a similar journey that I am. And it's, you know, it's like, I want to share frequencies, you know, with people that I respect and admire. So, you know, that's why I reached out to Dante. And, you know, it's so important to surround ourselves with people we want to be more like. So honor yourself, respect yourself, create those boundaries. But at the same time, I think, you know, it's you want to don't demonize your friends too. Maybe what you see in them is something that you see your old former self that used to like to drink, and then they're almost, when they say, hey, do you want to go drink, they're not intentionally bringing toxic energy to you. You know, to say that this friend's toxic, you know, that's still projecting something. Yeah. See your friend as don't see those old friends as doing something toxic, but see that's where they're at in their journey. And maybe if you say like, you know what, hey, actually, I'm taking a break from alcohol, but hey, if you want to go to the gym together, if you want to meditate together, grab a meal together, you know, that actually might inspire them, and they actually might want to do that anyways, you know, and sometimes we can inspire our friends by being more of the light, or maybe there's something within them, a seed within them that we didn't even know was there. So it's important to not judge past friends, but see the best in them and try to pull that out of them. Sometimes we can't, sometimes we can, but often there's seeds of greatness and light within all of us.
Yeah, you said it all, man. I was just gonna say that too. Like, a lot of times when we start to change, we start to look at other people that we were with as being toxic, and we don't want to do that because we all wake up at our own time. You know, everybody has their set alarm clock inside. So you might wake up first among your group of friends, but you might be that spark for them to wake up, right? So you lead by example. You know, you separate yourself from those activities. You just let them know, like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. And then you start living the life that you are destined to live. They'll see you. Trust me. People watch you. And when they start to see like what
They'll
you're
be inspired.
doing, yeah, they're gonna get inspired, man. It's happening for me. Like a lot of my friends, they watch my channel and they're on their journey now. You know, they one of my boys hit me up saying, man, I'm 9 days in, man. It's hard, but hey, bro, but like you plant seeds through your actions and through your words. They might not wake up today. 2 years from now, though, that seed might start growing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
and those friendships are valuable. So, you know, create some distance and set up boundaries, and communication is very important. You know, don't be afraid to be assertive. If someone says, hey, you want to drink, you know, or, you know, that's kind of just a metaphor for anything that you don't want to do. It just be create boundaries and be like, hey, you know, I'm taking a break from this, or hey, I don't want to smoke, or hey, I'm not don't want to go to the club, or whatever it is. You know, set boundaries. Communication is huge, but, you know, still, you know, you don't need to completely cut off everyone and be a lone wolf. Maybe instead of hanging out with them once a week, hang out with them once a month, and see, you know, friendships are super important, and then see how the relationship progresses over time. But
right. And like, you know, just because you don't drink, man, that don't mean you can't hang out with them. Like, you know, I got plenty of friends who don't drink, but they still hang out with us. They have their, you know, soda or whatever. When I used to drink or whatever, I had friends, you know, who didn't drink, and, you know, it was never no judgment or anything like that, man. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. You just,
yeah.
Like I think lots of people make it a big deal, but they're actually using that as an excuse to give into whatever it is. Oh, I don't want to disappoint my friends.
Yeah, like people respect
you. But that's an excuse. Yeah, people actually respect you more if you actually show up as your true highest best self.
Right. Facts.
So. Yeah. Yeah, I think you maybe take 2-3 more questions.
Okay, cool.
I feel strong listening to you guys. These are golden words. Appreciate it, Assad.
Thank you, buddy.
Wonder Man, I feel like I have a split personality being addicted to PMO for so long. And yeah, I feel you. It's almost like we have this sub-personality. It's almost like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. And, you know, we almost turn into this thing that just craves, you know, the ring Lord of the Rings. It's almost like PMO. We suddenly start craving it, and it's all we can think about, and then we obsess about it. And then other times we could revert back into our true self. And it's crazy. It's almost like we have two personalities. And one of the most important things is to do whatever we can to feed that positive personality, that best self personality, and kind of starve that Gollum sub PMO personality. And one of the biggest things I recommend is, you know, get an accountability partner, get a coach. You know, me and Dante both take clients, get a therapist, and just talk to friends about it, and create a community. You know, it's whether you're an athlete, you have a community, you have a coach. When in school, you have professors. You know, you got to surround yourself with people who are on a similar energy. You know, it's so, you know, find ways to feed that best self personality. Find a friend, and, you know, check in with each other once a week. Be accountable to each other and support each other.
Yeah, man. Sorry, somebody was calling me.
No worries.
But yeah, I would say, you know, I talk about lifestyle. So the more that you indulge in the lifestyle, the more stronger that gets in your life. So when you stop PMOing, and the longer you go without PMOing, that split personality gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yep.
Just like the movie Get Out, right? It goes into a sunken place, and it just sits there dormant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you try to go back to those old ways, now he comes back to the surface. So this is why you want to be very aware of what you're doing each and every day, and what you're indulging in, what you're listening to, what you're watching, because that's where those old habits come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful of
Definitely.
that.
And the longer you go, the easier it gets. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. yeah, what I tell people is do whatever you can now. Take it really seriously now, because the longer you go, the easier it gets. But it's worth doing everything you can now.
Yeah. So.
Got a JK innovation. Yo guys, I was born without my right hand. Meeting new people sort of awkward with handshake introductions. Think I'm still self-conscious from being bullied through my school days. Any advice? I really liked what Dante was saying earlier on, and that we are all energetic beings. We're all energy. And a really big thing is the energy we put out is the energy people respond to us. Now, back in school days, people can just be cruel, you know, kids can just be cruel, especially, you know, in school and fixed environment. But the thing I've learned about insecurity is if you could completely own yourself and come in with the confident energy, people mirror that back to you. So if you know you do your best to have good vibes, and, you know, and make a joke about it, you know, reach out your left hand, you know, don't take yourself too seriously. We're all just energetic beings, but come in with a light, playful, confident energy, and people will mirror that energy back to you for the most part, you know. And if they don't, then you wouldn't want to be around them anyway, you know. But show up confident, playful, don't, you know, and then people mirror that energy back to you. You know, that's one thought I have for you. But yeah, that's a unique situation you have, JK.
I met a girl at the gym a few years back, and she was missing these fingers, so she only had these. And you know, she was real confident though, man, and she was a beast in the gym, right? And like, you know, people would, like, you know, comment on her hand, and she would just be straight up like, "Oh, I lost this in a accident or whatever," you know. But I never seen her like unconfident or just, you know, shaken by people's reaction. And I think that's where you have to build that confidence with yourself. You got to be comfortable with yourself, right? All right, I'm in this situation. I can't change it, so I might as well make the best of it, right? Let that transform you into a better person, to a more confident person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe somehow try to see it as a blessing, see it as a way that makes you unique. You know, it's a way that makes you stand out. It's a gift. You know, sometimes it could be hard to see things that way, but yeah, back when I had a porn addiction, I thought this was the worst thing possible. But now I almost see it as a gift, because without it, I wouldn't be doing this on YouTube. I wouldn't be having this conversation with Dante. I wouldn't be helping people who also have addictions. You know, I almost see that old prem as a gift. And, you know, oftentimes in life, maybe you'll meet some girl one day who has some similar insecurity, and when she sees how you own your one hand, that's going to inspire her to whatever insecurity she has, to completely own the thing that's bothering her, you know. So we always got to have that maximal mindset. When you look at animals, if you look at a dog, and there's some dogs I've seen with 3 paws. They don't give a fuck, you know. They're completely confident and honest about who they are in their body. But humans, we have self-consciousness, and we use that. We get insecure about stuff, but we can. But that just shows the power of our mind. When we dwell on, oh, this is an insecurity, that's mind generated. But if we could change how we see things and take things in a more positive light, that can, try to see everything as a blessing, everything as a gift. That just makes us very powerful and attractive.
And like you said, energy is everything, man. So the way you feel about yourself is other people are going to feel that, right? We don't realize a lot of times people don't even care about what we think they do. A lot of people are just living their life, but it's our insecurity, and we put it on. We see other people. We see our insecurity in other people, so we feel like they're judging us. But really, most people really don't care. They just live in their own life. You know what I mean?
It's so true. Yeah.
It all starts inside of us. You know.
So true. So true. We'll take 2 more questions.
Okay.
Sinan, what's up, Sinan, brother? How can I go on retention long term, 3+ months?
So the key to going on a long streak is you have to find something to transmute that energy into, right? I think I said it earlier. A lot of guys, their first mistake is they let that energy sit stagnant. Energy is not stagnant. You can't let it sit. It has to move. It has to go somewhere. So you want to be using your creative force up here and using that energy to create, right? So you putting it into your hobbies, you're putting it into your business, your dreams, your job, whatever it is, anything that's going to make you a better person at the end of the day. That's what you're putting your energy into, right? And you do this every single day. Every single day, you have to wake up with this mindset. You can't get comfortable, because when you get comfortable, this is when trouble starts, right?
Yeah.
The mind is a devil's playground.
Yeah. Yeah. Being busy and engaged is important.
So your affirmations are going to be very, very important. You have to speak to yourself. You got to program your subconscious of how you want your day to go, right? So you can even say, I will not relapse. I will use my energy for purpose. You know what I mean? I am in control of myself. I am in control of my urges. I am. Say these things to yourself before your day starts. That's going to program your subconscious. So when you get to a point where you think you might relapse, that's going to trigger. The affirmation is going to trigger, and it's going to stop you. It's going to block you. Okay? But you have to do these things. You can't just get up and have no clue of what you're going to do today. You can't be unorganized with your day. It has to be planned out. You got to have a purpose. Okay.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Then I also think some sort of grounding activities is, I think, essential, whether it's meditation, prayer, yoga, even just taking a walk or being in nature, or but some things just to help ground us and keep us centered. Those things I think are essential, and I almost think of them like mandatory. Like I put in my calendar going on a walk. You know, I'll put that in my calendar. I almost see it as like a doctor's appointment. Like I need to go on a walk because it just helps keep me grounded and centered, and just getting away from technology, getting outside, getting some sunlight. It just helps keeps us grounded and centered. Yeah. And I feel that engagement, but then also that centering. You know, kind of expansion and contraction. They're both essential on this retention journey.
Yeah, it's just facts.
And last question by S Gamer. Please tell how to talk with any guy or girl without getting attracted. Just talk normally. So it sounds like he wants to talk to a girl without feeling lust, or to be to be more even keel with him. Is that accurate, S Gamer? What do you think of that, Dante?
So attraction is good. We're not trying to get rid of attraction.
Yeah.
Right. So don't get that confused. We're just gaining control. Right.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, I mean, you could speak to a woman and be attracted to her. There's nothing wrong with that. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want you guys to hate women or just cancel women, or women cancel men. You know, that's not the goal. The goal is for us to be in control of our urges. We don't act on our urges. Right? We just contain them. You know?
That's perfect. Yeah.
So one thing you have to do is, as far as the lust, don't think about how she looks, but be engaged in the conversation. You know, actually listen and just be receptive to what they're saying. A lot of times we get complacent in a conversation and we're just having all these different thoughts. Oh man, she bad. I wonder if she got some cheeks. She got some nice style. You know, we're just thinking all these thoughts and you're not even paying attention to what she's saying. And I think that's a key for you to really not have lust, right? Actually get to know a person, because lust is temporary, but actually learning a person, that's going to let you know if you actually like that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's one thing about looking at porn, and it completely dehumanizes the person. There's no interaction. There's no vulnerability. We don't know if that porn actress has siblings. We don't know her insecurities, her flaws,
right?
Her dreams. You know, she's just this, this video where there's no connection, but actually making eye contact with a woman, actually talking to women, actually realizing we're all imperfect. We all have flaws. We all have dreams. We all have insecurities. We all have a mother and father. We all have siblings. We all have this history, and we're all we're all on this journey together. It just becomes more real. And when I feel like lots of guys who have issues with girls, it's like you need to talk to more women in real life and actually create those interactions, because that it brings up the humanity, it brings up that realness, and that's so important. And porn or jerking off to these fantasies, it disconnects us from the actual real connection that's present with everyone.
Right, a real person. Like, it disconnects you from seeing that as a person. You just see it as an object.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
facts, man. That's facts.
And rather as a spiritual being, as an energetic being. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But this has been awesome. Yeah. Thanks again for coming on, Dante. Yeah. This has been awesome. Yeah. It's an honor.
It's been a pleasure for me as well. Just to get on here, and anytime spreading this type of message, man, it always gets me excited, because more guys are starting to get keen onto what this is all about.
The movement's growing. I feel like it could be exponential.
Yeah,
because it's the truth, and the truth will spread. Yeah, I imagine one day in like 20 years where retention will be taught in schools or something. Like, you never know. Maybe that's too big of a dream, but
yeah.
But it's the future. It's what we all should be doing.
It's definitely growing, man, and
it's growing big. Yeah,
I'm thankful that I can be a part of it, man, and just to see it. Likewise.
Yeah. Likewise. Yeah, you're doing lots of good on your channel. Yeah, and for everyone watching this, make sure to have a link to Dante's channel down below. Make sure to subscribe. Check him out on Instagram too. She shares some content is there as well, but awesome content. And this has been really awesome. So thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, indeed.
And stay strong. Much love, guys.